everybody. This is Boris Schlossberg. Welcome to Trading Battle number 8, where we put some of the world's best traders against each other in live market conditions. And today I have a very, very special show for you today. We have two of the world's best traders. In one corner, my friend and colleague, Kathy Lien, the queen of Funda and the great Forex trader. And in the other corner, Raghee Horner, who is, I would say, the queen of futures trading, and also an incredibly well-seasoned, really experienced trader. We have a tremendous show today. I'm very excited to have both of the ladies today. It's going to be an all-out battle. Even though these are two ladies, they're going to fight to the death to see who's going to win today, because the winner gets to have not only bragging rights, but have their winnings allocated to charity. So they're very motivated to do really well for you guys, and hopefully you'll have a great show. So, hello everybody. Hi Raghee, how are you?
Great, how are you doing, Boris?
Very, very good. Good to see you. And hi Kay, how are you?
Hi, I only spoke to you a few months ago, but good morning
yes,
to you
did.
as well.
You did. But play along with the show, I know. Big event before anything else for all the global macro markets is going to be U.S. retail sales. U.S. retail sales right now projected to bounce back. I believe on the core basis, the last month they were 0.7 negative. Today they're projected to be 0.4 up, but still a pretty muted pump up. I'm wondering, ladies, how do you feel? Kathy, what do you think retail sales is going to be like today, given the overall data set that we've seen over the last couple of weeks?
Well, my outlook is always driven by the numbers. And when it comes to retail sales, I always look at basically the average hourly earnings, the non-farm payrolls report, which if you all remember, the last one was pretty good. And then we also look at the Red Book and Johnson retail sales surveys. And both of those reports showed that spending accelerated quite a bit in the month of June. So I know that there's some talk that there could be a miss, and that would purely come from weaker auto sales, in my opinion. But when it comes to spending, there are many reasons from a quote unquote leading indicator perspective to think that retail sales is going to be good, because there's no question that the U.S. economy is on a very clear path to recovery. The real question for us as traders, of course, is how that would impact the markets and whether it matters at all. So, that's something to take in consideration. But if we're looking at the pure data, between non-farm payrolls, average hourly earnings, as well as the other consumer sentiment and consumer spending surveys, I can't help but lean towards a stronger number. Now, of course, I could be wrong, but in the grand scheme of things, these kind of leading indicators are more reliable than they're not. So my inclination is going to be to buy dollars ahead of the report.
So far be it from me to throw down in this battle against Kathy's number crunching abilities. I follow Kathy on Twitter, and whenever she has her number crunching, I'll take a look at that, because it's superior, it's awesome, and it gives a really clear path. That being said, I think my approach is not so much for example, I'm not going to be nearly as astute, right? I'm not going to be able to flex the number crunching, but what I'll do is I'll wait for the number to come out. My moment is 8:31, Eastern. My moment is right after that number comes out, and we get the initial reaction to the headline, the overreaction sometimes. And so I'll typically fade that. But what I'm really curious about, and before we really get nasty, Kathy, I want to start throwing hands. What I'm curious about is this, and we've seen this with CPI data. We're in this good news is bad news environment ever since June 16. So the Federal Reserve tweaks the message. Of course, the market's like 3-year-olds completely overreact. So what I'm wondering is a healthy consumer, is a good retail sales number necessarily going to be something that's going to send the market higher or lower? I agree with Kathy. This will be the last time I agree with you today. I agree with Kathy. It's going to be a better than expected number, or at least a positive number. But I'm wondering if the market's going to head lower, and in which case I'd love to buy dollars, short yen, and in terms of indices, get long indices.
Get my trade in, because my sweet spot is usually 20 minutes before the data, because that's when the spreads are tight. Thankfully, nothing's really moved right now. So what I really like right now is selling euro dollar right here at 118.03 with a 30 pip stop and a 20 pip target. These are relatively short trades. We'll see how they transpire. But I think that, we're getting very close to the data, and I don't want anyone to be subjected to wide spreads. That's, Boris and I trade news all the time, sometimes well, sometimes poorly, but we always like to, have some sort of wiggle room before the number comes out.
What I'd like to do is fade. So this will be a limit order to buy pound yen, twisted sister, 152.20. So I'd like to see the market just give me a couple, maybe, 15, 20 pips the downside on pound yen, and fade by, limit by 152.20.
Okay, so typically when I trade, there's a few reasons why I like this euro-dollar short trade. First off, we talked about how from a retail sales perspective, we've got the wage, we've got the payrolls, we've got Red Book, Johnson, all on its side. But this morning, we also had a classic, what I like to call euro-dollar zip signal. This is my indicator, and when we get the white line with the red background, the white bar with the red background, that is an indication to sell. So from a technical perspective, I also have the signal to sell euro-dollar. And the last piece of that puzzle is 10-year rates. So we've got the indicator down. And if you look in the upper right-hand corner, I have my 10-year rates up there. And the 10-year rates are up 1.25% this morning. So that is, generally speaking, pro dollars, although that relationship is completely broken down lately. But all of that, win or lose or die, is the reasons why I laid out the euro-dollar short trade. I think it's exceptionally important to have good reasons for your trades. And as many stars that line up in your favor, the stronger the arguments are for that trade. And that's the reason why I like the euro-dollar.
Numbers are coming up. Where's my number? It's not up yet, just yet. Where's my number? Do we have a reaction yet? My feed isn't coming in yet. Let's see what's coming in.
Yeah, we're seeing some yen weakness.
Some yen weakness. So that means the number wasn't as good as.
It's 0.6 versus 0.4. It's positive instead of negative. So it's a good number. I'm a mental king. Now let's see if it matters.
No, you're absolutely right. A number came in at 0.6 against negative 0.3. Very strong numbers. Core was 1.3 against 0.6. Kathy's fundamental analysis was spot on, or as I like to say in my chat room, spot the F on. In terms of analyzing, it was actually much stronger than the market expected. The reaction, though, is relatively muted. 4 points to the good for you, Kathy. 17.99. Should we cover and take the profits, or are we going to let that run?
Well, this is really the key, right? Because there's a difference between what we think is going to happen and what is actually going to happen. Right. And clearly we thought that retail sales was going to be good, and it was, and all of the reasons why. But what's actually happening? Not much, right?
This is what I'm looking at. I'm looking at right now contrasting. Here, let me throw this on here, show you what I'm looking at. So just real simple. Keep it super simple so everyone at home can follow along. So I'll just look at a one-day relative performance, and I'll let the relative performance sort of contrast start to tell me what I should be looking at. So I know yen is going to be in play because we know we have options expiration and equities will be moving, and it's weak right now, suggesting we should see strength in stonks. However, as far as the pairs go, I'd love look at my pound slid to the left. So I know that's weakening. I still might get a shot. If the pound weakens enough, I'm not ruling that out. I'll leave that limit order out there. If I can get a fade of that 152.20, I'll still take it. But I've noticed that now New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar, US dollar, that contrast with the pound is far better. So now that everyone kind of sees what I'm looking at, I'm just going to dive in and start looking at ways that I can buy New Zealand dollar short yen, or buy Canadian dollar short yen, or maybe even buy greenback short yen. I'm going to go with that. I'm going to go with I'm leaning towards a greenback. So I don't mind buying right here, 110.24, 110.23, whatever it is right now. Okay. I'll put a stop below the 110 handle. So I'll let it float around, and I'm going to lean on that 110 major psychological level. We're going to get the bell in an hour. So really a trade like this, I'm going to give at least in the back of my mind between now and the Wall Street bell to work. But I like that long dollar short yen. And I might even throw in the New Zealand dollar.
Very nice to have you. But now I get to be a little evil. Here comes my favorite part of the show, where I do something that happens to a lot of traders. I put you into one of the most uncomfortable situations possible. So here's my challenge number 2 for you guys. Each one of you has to pick 3 trades for your opponent. That means what you want to do is you want to pick the worst possible trades you think that are happening in the marketplace and put them into that position. And your opponent has to hold that position for 10 minutes before they can do anything about it. They can either then decide to hold on to it because if they think, you're wrong, I want to be long, whatever you're making me sell short, or I want to be short, whatever you make me sell long, or they can close out their risk. And here, we really want to see what happens when the market effectively goes against you and how you guys handle that type of pressure. So I'm going to put challenge to Raghee. Raghee, what are you choosing for Kathy to torture her for the next 10 minutes? What 3 trades would you like to drop her into that you think are going to...
That's 10 minutes. How about long Euro Swiss market and short pound Swiss?
Well, Raghee, long Euro Swiss is such a beautiful trade. 108.53. You got me into one of the best trades, I think.
So Raghee's got to pick one more trade.
One more. Let's get Kathy into a long Aussie New Zealand.
New Zealand. She hated that trade. Okay, because she was bullish Kiwis. All right, so she's long Aussie.
Okay, so my first trade is short stocks. Let's say short the S&P.
Okay.
Oh, wait a minute.
Short S&P 4364. Go ahead.
The second one is long dollar CAD.
Okay. I actually love that trade, but okay, 25.89 dollar CAD, by the way, at multi-month highs. So Kay is actually putting her into a long position against that. 25.89, and the third trade.
You said I can't say anything, right? The third trade I think is, I don't know if Raghee trades the pound or not, but as I said, I hate the pound. So we're going to put her in a long pound Kiwi trade.
Pound Kiwi. Oh my God. Okay. Pound NZD. So that's interesting because Kathy also, she does the double torture, which is going not only into a bad trade, but into the highest volatility trade. Pound Kiwi is one of the highest volatility trades in the Forex market, trading at 197.27, and she has her long at 197.27. All right, guys, we're coming up to almost the end of the show, and I don't want to leave the show without touching on our next final segment, which is crypto. Crypto has been a dog. I mean, it's been a disaster for the last couple of weeks. Not only have we seen prices decline, we've seen volumes collapse by around 60% off the peak. It's really clearly in a corrective mode. So the big question I have for both of the ladies today is I want you to choose your best crypto trade for next week. What do you think is going to happen to the market the week following? And what trade do you want to place within that market that you think is going to make the most sense? I got to tell you, I loved having both ladies on the show. It's been literally the best show I've hosted because you guys are so into the markets. When I have guys, it's like literally pulling teeth to get them to do a single trade because they're all such wussies. But you ladies have definitely cojones of elephants. Thank you for participating and having a fun time.